What is going on? Today we're going to do the dreaded U-joints. These things really aren't fun. I don't enjoy doing them, but it's something that has to be done. So let's get into it. But before we do that, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Obviously we do a ton of work on Cadillacs. This drive shaft here is out of a 93 through 96 Fleetwood. I have seen similar differences between them as far as the body length goes, but at the ends, pretty much they've all been the same. This one's out of a 96, it's in a 93, so they are interchangeable. As I said, there are some differences between the diameter of the tubing on these, but I haven't seen any real difference as far as length goes. So far, everything seems to be the same. So we're gonna get into it. It does show a few different options for U-joints, basically through like limos, hearses, stuff like that. The parts guy asked me, I was kind of leery. I was like, are you looking up the right vehicle? But then it dawned on me, like limos, you know, they have longer drive shafts, two-piece drive shafts. But just check out what you got. More likely you're probably gonna have a standard drive shaft unless you're working on a limo. So with that being said, we're gonna get into it. So this is a style that we're working with here. It's pretty much early 90s through late 90s, really early 80s through late 90s. They're held in, if you see that little dot right there, that's like wax or plastic. Basically, they'll put them caps in place and then fill it up with plastic, and that's what retains this. Pretty crazy, but it worked for many, many years on many, many vehicles. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna get a torch, heat this up, and that'll actually start oozing out. Best thing would be like a acetylene torch. I don't have one of those at the moment, so I'm gonna just use a regular old propane torch. So we're gonna start heating this up. Probably not a bad idea to get yourself some gloves. We're gonna be heating up metal, and metal holds heat. Also, not a bad idea to get some safety glasses, because this stuff could come flying out. A cap could come off if it builds enough pressure. I've seen that on a few different situations. So kind of better safe than sorry. Really probably should do it in a good, well ventilated area also. Maybe we'll open a window a little bit later, but we're gonna get to it right now. So we're gonna start heating this up, and you'll see this plastic start oozing out. Alright, as you may have seen, plastic squirt out there, also squirted out on the back side too. I believe we got it all out, so I'm going to keep going around and do the rest of these, and I'll bring you guys back when it's time to push the actual U-joint itself out. Alright, we seem to got most of the plastic out of there. It is still very hot, as you can see. There's many different ways of doing this. One of the easiest, get a socket, basically put it on the bottom. You want one that's bigger than the cap of your U-joint. Get another one that's smaller, closer to the same size. You're probably going to grab a bigger one. You do want to kind of get on the outside of that, because if you hit it just there, more likely it'll just break that cap and it won't really do any good. They make presses. You can use a ball joint press. It doubles as a U-joint press as well. I've used it. It's okay. It's not okay. It's not terrible, I guess. I don't know. You can also use a vise. Set it in there and kind of do the same principle like this and push it through the vise. You can do it with a press also, but a press to me is a little overkill because you can't really feel if you're getting in a bind. So while we got this warmed up, I'm going to set it on the table. I'm going to grab my hammer, a little bit bigger socket, and we'll see if we can knock these out. So it's starting to come out. You may want to grab yourself a disposable socket. This one's a little bit harder than they are most of the times, and I messed it up pretty good. Unfortunately, it's my spark plug socket. That's cool. Yeah, get you a disposable socket, any extras you got laying around. But yeah, knock it out. You just have a good hammer. We're going to get some pliers on there now. This is still hot. Put it in there, pull that out. Work on getting that one there out. Alright, so we got our cap off, as you'll see. You would think you'd be able to just pull this out and bring it all through here, but that's not really the case. We're going to send it back through there until it pops out and then pull it off as well. Usually I'll send them just a little bit through, see if I can get the pliers on and pull out. That way this isn't all the way out of here. But But like I said, this one was a little bit more stubborn, so I want to try and get this out as far as I could. So I'll spray a little bit of lubricant on there, send it back through the other way, and hopefully it comes out good. So we got it all out of the front side of the drive shaft. Wasn't too terrible. As you see, I used a piece of all thread. It's just what I had laying around. I would prefer to use a punch. It kind of worked out, I guess, because that's actually a pretty tight fit. As you can see, it got stuck in there. I was able to just grab my vice grips and actually unthread it. So that was pretty cool. That worked out decent. This is definitely not a punching device. It's just what I had laying around. I would definitely use a hardened punch. So we're going to work on taking this stuff out, and I'll bring you back when we get ready to reinstall everything. Alright, so here's a fun fact. The inside of the yoke side, they do have clips. They also have the plastic, which would make you think it doesn't have clips. Seeing as I was beating on it, it wasn't going anywhere, so I said, screw it, put it in my press. Finally got to move. I was all greased up, so couldn't really tell there was clips there. But yeah, it shot off, and I said, there's a clip in there. So yeah, you have to remove those clips on these ones. Like I said, the outside didn't have them. Those ones do. So it is what it is. What I'm going to do is put a screwdriver in there, kind of push both of them down at the same time, try and get that either to come off or I can hook something in there. If you just push one, it just spins around on there. So that's why I'm using both screwdrivers. Ooh, that is hot. Still haven't cooled off. No. And we're almost back to square one. Yep, fell right back into position. That's awesome. That's why we love doing U-joints. All right, after fighting this thing, finally got it out. So now we gotta pull another one out right there, but I'm gonna try not to first. I'm gonna try and knock that out and then see if it comes out. It should, so that'll be one less headache. Victory has been achieved. Now we go to putting it all back together. All right, so we're getting ready to put our new U-joints back in our yoke. What we're gonna do, we'll pull our end caps off, each of the opposite side. One thing to really make sure, see if I can do this without doing it. When you take those off, make sure all those needle bearings are all on the sides. A lot of times you'll get one stuck down the bottom, and that will prevent you from putting this together, and you'll probably end up damaging your cap. So make sure you check that out. That's very, very critical. So we got our caps off on each side. We're going to go ahead and put this in the yoke, and then we'll start sliding our caps in on the sides. All right, we got both of our caps on. This is just loosely in here. I'm going to take it over to the vise now and just squeeze it down. Take your time with this. Clean up all your holes first. I cleaned everything with sandpaper. Make sure there isn't no burrs. Run your finger around it carefully because, you can't get cut. But your finger will definitely let you know if there's an impurity there. So you want it to be good, clean, and smooth. So we're going to squeeze these in. Like I said, take your time. Not try and force anything because that's when you'll mess up. All right, here we go. Hopefully this vise opens far enough. It does. Everything seems to be sliding together good. Alright, things are looking pretty good. Now, when you get that all tightened up in the vise, you can put one clip in. You may have to backtrack if you get one side that doesn't want to go in quite well. What I had to do, I had to put this clip in. This one wouldn't quite go in far enough, so I actually pushed it back that way, and it pushed this clip up tight against the yoke, and now I have enough room to put my clip in over here. So we're going to throw that in, and then we'll start putting it back in the drive shaft itself. As far as the clips go, they go in easier than they come out, that's for sure. You usually just push them in just like that. It is there. And we're going to do this one the same way we've done them all. Slide it in there like that. Put our cap in. Make sure your needle bearings are all in there. I usually like to push the U-joint into the cap. That way I'm pretty for certain that the bearings are going to stay where they need to stay. You want to try and line that up as square as possible. I believe I am a little off. We're about to find out. All the needle bearings are in there. That seems to be lining up. So we'll go and push it in with the vise. If you have a vise that can turn, now is the time to do it. This one here. That way I can lay it across the table. Just trying to hold the drive shaft up and trying to turn everything and tighten everything all at the same time. It's a bit of a pain. These also can still be hammered in just like we did with removing them. I just found this to be way easier putting them together. It's always good to make sure to have these as square as you can get them. Also probably leave your vise a little bit loose as well, that way you can keep it square. Just right here. And we'll start tightening down. Hopefully it all goes as it should. Alright, so we got our caps pushed in on both sides. What I was telling you earlier about these clips. As you can see down there, we have enough room to put that clip in. But on this other side, you can see we don't. So we're going to put the clip in on this side and push everything back down. And that'll give us enough room to put this side clip in. Alright, as you can see, we got our clips in. They're both fully seated. These ones were a little bit more of a pain. Basically what I did, it kind of got started. Then I just used something. Basically I just had an extension laying around. I used it to push and pop them in. They were a little bit tighter than what these ones were. They're all the same direction. I think it was just, this was harder to get to. Yeah, I just pushed it in, and once they clicked, it was good. So there's how to change out a U-joint. They can be a bit of a pain sometimes. Sometimes they go really easy. There's really no way to tell how the job's going to go until you get started. So kind of prepare for the worst. You know, worst case scenario, I'd say definitely take it to a shop if you're not comfortable doing it, because this thing does spin at very high RPM. If it breaks, bad stuff can happen. So use your best judgment. As I said, you can use a hammer, you can use sockets, you can use a press, you can use a ball joint press as well. All are really good tools, and sometimes you might end up needing them all. Like today, I did have to use my press. Don't really like using my press for stuff like this, but it was making no other progress any other way. And once I used my press, kind of learned what I should have done properly the first time. And that's why I made this video for you guys, so you guys can do it properly the first time and not have to do a learning curve like me. I have done many U-joints, unfortunately, in my lifetime so far. There are different styles. You know, this one has the internal clips. This one has the clips on the outside. So there are different styles, so definitely be aware of that. But this one is for a 93 through 96 Cadillac. Their U-joints should all be the same style as far as I've come across. I've worked on worked on all the different drive shafts, I guess, now that I think about it. I never run into any difference between them. As I said, the only thing I have Seen different is the tube diameter here, but that's it. The U-joints have always matched up. I'm pretty sure I've been running the same part number for God knows how long now. But anyways, kind of getting off rambling on a different subject. Hope the video helps you out. Hit the like button if it does. Leave a comment. And remember, you won't know what you can do till you try. You might be able to try and change the U-joint out. Worst case scenario, you're running into problems, you don't change it out. Maybe take it to a shop. They can help you out. But I appreciate you watching, and we'll see you on the next one.